Recently, I watched a really impressive and inspirational interview with Elon Musk, in which he said with all his projects, he still feels the fear. And he feels the fear much stronger than he would like. But nevertheless, with all his projects, he does them anyways, because he thinks that they are worth it. And I thought to myself when I heard it, that you couldn't summarize the key message of the acceptance and commitment therapy, which is more and more often used to treat depression and anxiety, any better. Because as soon as the stakes are high, if it's really worth it, you do it anyways. For example, take for a moment your own fear. It doesn't matter what kind of fear. And now imagine somebody comes over and tells you, you have to face your fear, otherwise we will kill your dad. Or we will kill a person that is really important for you. I definitely would. If I was told, and you know I have a history of social anxiety, if I was told that I would have to give a speech to the whole world, usually I would say, no way, I don't do that. But if I'm told otherwise my dad would be killed or something really bad happens, I wouldn't hesitate, I would do it. It's worth it to do it in this circumstance. And the same is if you have a really high goal in your life. If your goal is really worth it, you will do it anyways. So this is the theory of the acceptance and commitment therapy. But what about the actual effectiveness? Let's, for example, compare it to CBT. And this is exactly what they did in a study in 2012, conducted by Arch and colleagues. And what is really interesting about this study is that the therapists were trained by, on the one hand, Michelle Craske for CBT, and she is really one of the leading scientists in CBT. And on the other hand, the acceptance and commitment therapy therapists were trained by Stephen Hayes and Georg Eifert. So for both therapies, the therapists who conducted the actual therapy were trained by the best of the best, you could say. And the participants of this study had, for example, panic disorder with agoraphobia, they had specific phobias, they had social phobia, obsessive compulsive disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. So people with quite different anxiety disorders. And the question was, which of the two therapy methods could be a little bit better? And it turned out that all in all, both therapy methods, on the one hand CBT, which is the gold standard, and on the other hand ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, were somehow equally effective in reducing anxiety. And in some measures, ACT was even a little bit better in the follow-up, even though this tendency should be treated really carefully. So this study and many other studies speak for the effectiveness of the acceptance and commitment therapy. And it tells us that we should not fight our fear, we should somehow accept it and maybe sometimes even be grateful because our fear tries to protect us, but at least we should accept it and to follow higher goals. Because when we follow the higher goal, it's just the way Elon Musk says. There is fear, you accept the fear, but you do it anyways. And that we know from CBT, the more often you do that, the more often you face your fear, for example, for a greater good, the less fear you will experience in the long run. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and maybe took it as a reason to look for your goals that are worth it to face your fear. And if so, really give it a try.